All right, everyone. Welcome to the McIntyre School of Commerce information session during Summer Orientation 2021. I'm Sadie Royal Collins. I'm the Director of Undergraduate Admission at the McIntyre School. I'm here with the McIntyre Undergraduate Admission Dream Team, Sonia Jimenez, who is our Assistant Director, and Andrea Kester, who is our Admission Coordinator. We are so excited to know of your interest in McIntyre, and we're excited that you're going to be joining us on grounds very shortly. We are recording this session and we will post it on our website, and Summer Orientation will post it on their website as well. So if you miss anything, please don't hesitate to rewatch the recording and get as much information as you need. Today, we are going to talk about the many ways that you can engage with the McIntyre School of Commerce, and we hope that this is one of many conversations that you'll have with us about your personal path to McIntyre. We're going to talk about the many different ways that you can pursue a business education at McIntyre, not just our undergraduate program, but we have a lot of different opportunities for you to get involved. We'll talk about what makes McIntyre special in terms of our curriculum and our community. And then we'll dive more deeply into admission prerequisites and our requirements, and as well as our admission process. And then finally, we'll answer any questions that you have in Zoom. My colleagues are going to be answering your questions in the Q&A, the webinar Q&A. And so feel free to post any that you have there. They're not going to answer them immediately if we intend to go over them in this session. But if you have specific personal questions that you just want to ask a quick question, feel free, and Sonia will be happy to answer it there. Okay, let's get started. So again, I hope this isn't the first and last time that you engage with us, and really encourage you to hang out with us as much as possible so that you can get as much information about your personal path to McIntyre. You can visit our office. We are still virtual for summer 2021, but we have a virtual waiting room staffed by Andrea, who can answer any questions that you have, especially as you start enrolling in your courses. In person, we will be in Rouse and Robertson Halls, right off the lawn in room 142 on the first floor. And so we hope that you'll stop by and see us. You can always email us or pick up the phone and give us a call if you have questions. We're happy to answer those, and we frequently check those messages and give you more information that, again, is specific to you. Come by Rouse and Robertson Halls, room 142 during the fall for ambassador advising. Our ambassadors are third and fourth year McIntyre students who have been trained to understand the ins and outs of prerequisites. They have experienced what McIntyre has to offer. They understand our curriculum and our community. And so we really encourage you to experience the ambassador advising as often as possible. No appointment is necessary. And we will post those days and times on our website. Our advising specifically is going to be probably 3 days a week for an hour and a half a day, so you have ample opportunity to speak with an ambassador. Our website is frequently updated to tell you as much as possible as students are asking those questions. If we get a frequently asked question, we add it to our frequently asked question list. So we really encourage you to take a deep dive into our website. Sign up for our Keeping Up with Com newsletter, which will give you up-to-the-minute information that is really, really important for you to learn as much as possible about what's going on at McIntyre, including our admission dates, things like that. Andrea just posted the subscription link in the newsletter. We will not sell your information. We will not, we don't distribute the list, but we give you really important information in it. So please get on our newsletter list. In addition, we have a Keeping Up with Com blog where our McIntyre ambassadors provide lots of information and perspective. There you can really get a sense of what McIntyre is like, what our alumni are doing. So take some time to review the blog and subscribe to it, and you can see what happens very frequently on it. Again, we have lots of information on our website. If you want to take a look at the sample application, there's one posted. We'll have admission dates and deadlines for the upcoming application cycle very shortly. So again, engage with us early and often, and we have a lot of information built on our website just for you. We really encourage students to think broadly about the many ways that they can pursue business at UVA. Commerce electives pair really nicely with any major of interest. So you can go and major in whatever various major you would like at the university, and then pair that with commerce electives like personal finance, accounting, introductory business, commercial law. So consider combining those with another degree that you might pursue. We encourage you to engage with the business community at the University Career Center early and often in your experience. First years and second years should go to the Career Center to learn more about yourself, what you're interested in, your skills, how you can align those skills with various jobs and industries, get resume prep, and really understand what it takes to be in different business industries. So go to the University Career Center even as a first year. It is never too early to take advantage of their many, many resources. We have 20 commerce-related student organizations that align themselves with McIntyre's mission for commerce for the common good. These 20 organizations range from investing to affinity groups to consulting to social entrepreneurship and much more. Check out our website to learn more information. Come to the Student Activities Fair, which will happen the day before classes start, where you come and you can explore up to 800 clubs and student organizations that are alive and well on grounds. Find something that you're interested in, that you're passionate about, get yourself out of your comfort zone, really experience all of these organizations, and take a look at our commerce-related student organizations specifically. The McIntyre Business Institute offers a certificate in business fundamentals. This takes a deeper dive into accounting, finance, marketing, and management, and it gives students who are not pursuing our undergraduate degree a certificate that allows them to align what their career interests are with whatever they're studying at UVA. This is also available for community members. Students can pursue the certificate in business fundamentals either online during a semester, in person on Friday afternoons during the academic year, and you can pursue these in a summer residential session as well. We have 3 minors that are available to students who are both majoring in commerce and who choose not to major in commerce. The first is a leadership minor, which really gives students the skills to pursue leadership in whatever context they think they're interested in pursuing, either as a major or after graduation. So students will take coursework like strategic leadership and persuasion and communication. So you will graduate with this leadership minor that will equip you with both hard and soft skills to be successful leading in whatever context matters to you most. The entrepreneurship minor is a minor that is available to students, again, throughout the university. You would concentrate in one of 3 concentrations. You could either choose social entrepreneurship, where you pursue coursework in the Batten School of Leadership and Public Policy and the Commerce School; technology entrepreneurship, where you take courses in the engineering school in McIntyre; or innovation in business, where you base most of your coursework at the McIntyre School of Commerce. The real estate minor is brand new. We are excited to admit students starting this spring. Students will take a Foundations of Real Estate Finance course in the spring, and then they will apply. The real estate minor is perfect for students who are interested in value creation through real estate. It is specifically for commercial real estate ventures. This is a really exciting interdisciplinary minor. It includes courses from the Batten School of Leadership and Public Policy, civil engineering, architecture. So we want for students to get a broad-based understanding of how the built environment positively affects other people's lives. The Masters of Science in Commerce is specifically designed for students who do not have an undergraduate degree in business. It is often referred to as a 5th-year degree, meaning that students complete their 4 years at UVA and they immediately enroll in this. This provides an integrated core as well as a comprehensive global experience at the end of a student's 1 year in the Masters of Science in Commerce. So we encourage you to look into this. It's also popular as a 3+1 program, meaning if you have a lot of prior test credits, you could enroll in it after you graduate from the university in 3 years and complete your 4th year in it. Finally, we have our undergraduate degree, the BS in Commerce. Some of the distinguishing characteristics of the BS in Commerce is that we're a 2-year program, meaning that you apply in your 2nd year for entry in your 3rd year. We want for students to come with a broad liberal arts foundation because we think that it's going to enrich your curricular experience. You're going to be able to solve business problems with that liberal arts foundation because you understand how the world works and how people within the world form their opinions and habits and why they do what they do. We want for students to have a really broad understanding of business. We don't want to graduate students who just major in finance or just major in accounting. We graduate students who have an undergraduate major in commerce, and they know a lot of different functional areas of commerce. We also really want for students to have a global understanding and appreciation. We encourage students to look at things from a global perspective instead of just a domestic perspective, because business is no longer just a domestic venture. One of the key takeaways from our graduates is that they develop and practice and are almost experts at hard and soft skills. We find that our employers want McIntyre graduates to come and work for them because they are almost expert at Excel, and they really create beautiful, thoughtful, and efficient presentations. So it's the hard and soft skills that McIntyre graduates bring to any workplace in any industry. So those are some of the distinguishing characteristics that we have of our program. How we do this is part through the Integrated Core Experience, or ICE. This is our third-year program where we take a class of about 50 students and we put them into what's called a block. The block has a shared faculty teaching team where faculty co-teach across their disciplines. These classes are case-based, meaning there is a vignette or case that allows the faculty to teach from their specific area of interest. For instance, you are going to look at a business problem from a strategic management lens in the first hour and a half of class, and then you are going to view it from a systems or IT lens in the second half of class. So this really shows you how you can attack business problems from multiple lenses. And we think that you are going to be even better if you're interested in going into finance upon graduation. You're going to be really, really great at finance if you understand the marketing and you understand the organizational behavior aspects of how a company runs. Likewise, you are going to be a better marketer when you can communicate the fundamentals of accounting and finance to your colleagues in that department. Finally, we really developed this excellent set of coursework through our applied learning. The company logos that you see in the third block are our ICE sponsors. So these are companies that take time to work with our faculty and develop major projects. So a company might have an idea, they might have a need, they might have a market opening, and they want to use our students as consultants from day one. As students are learning from the various areas of business, they are creating deliverables or work product for the companies. This is where students get a really in-depth, actual, real experience learning with companies. So instead of telling students what it's like to have a conference call, we require them to have a conference call with the company executives. That teaches students, again, those soft skills that are so important to companies, but it also gives them the actual knowledge that they need in order to provide value-added results at the end of the semester. So ICE culminates in a presentation to executives from these companies where students really show that they have learned so many different parts, and they are doing heavy group work throughout the academic year, and they are working, again, in this case-based format in order to produce real, tangible results for these companies. After a student goes through ICE in the fall semester of their third year, they then are required to choose one concentration. Students can choose up to 2 concentrations, or they can choose 2 tracks. So you must choose one concentration. You can choose up to 2 tracks. Concentrations are really functional or more classical areas of study, and you see them here in the blue squares. Those rectangles, we're going to go with that. Tracks are more cross-disciplinary programs. They either delve more deeply into a concentration. For instance, strategic brand consulting and communications delves very deeply into the marketing concentration, whereas a track like global commerce covers many different parts of the concentration. So you would take global finance, global management, and global marketing. About 40% of McIntyre students have a major in the College of Arts and Sciences in addition to commerce. Students can have 2 concentrations and 2 tracks. Students have minors in addition to their commerce major that are in other departments. So this degree is infinitely flexible, and we really want for students to delve into areas, again, areas of focus that they really care about with the common ICE experience that gives them that true commerce major. There are some differentiators with commerce that I want to talk about. The first is our community and our resources. So we have a student services team team that is here to provide every third year and fourth year student with what we call high touch resources. We have a global commerce team who works with students on study abroad opportunities. We have 2 different study abroad opportunities that I'll touch on briefly. The first is a short-term study abroad opportunity called Global Commerce Immersion. Students can travel with a faculty member on a course to one of many different areas. Those are all covered on our website. They are as of the 1920 or even 2019, 2020, because they've been grounded due to COVID. So a short-term study abroad experience engages students over January term for 10 days, 10 days over spring break, or 2 weeks during May. We also have semester abroad experiences. So these are where we pair with some of the best business schools in the world for students to learn as much as possible. Most students study abroad in the spring of their 3rd semester, where they take courses toward concentrations or tracks. Our Student Services Office also offers total advising. So they are here to help students become the best possible students they can. They want for students to really engage deeply in their learning. So they provide learning resources. They cover student diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. And they really provide community programs that get students to be their best selves, get them out of our group study rooms and talking to each other and just engaging with each other more fully. I've already talked about our commerce-related student organizations, but they are also a great part of our community and resources that we provide students. And 50% of McIntyre students, so our incoming 3rd year students, participate in a McIntyre-related student organization. So I'm talking about them a lot, but I want to make it clear that 50% of our applicants did not pursue a commerce-related student organization, and we're still competitive for admission. So while they're a great way for you to learn more about McIntyre community and about business industries and create a community for yourself, they're by no means required as a part of your admission to McIntyre. Another differentiator about McIntyre are our career services. Our career coaches are here to prepare students to engage with employers. They bring employers on grounds to meet with McIntyre students, and we really see that students have excellent return on investment. So career coaches are ready to meet with our incoming 3rd year students to talk about resumes, get them polished and ready to go. They want to work with students on on discovering industries, on students identifying their passions and skills and strengths, and identifying areas of weakness that they can work on in the next 2 years as they are McIntyre students. They bring employers on grounds. Every employer goes through the University Career Center, and then they come and they want to meet with McIntyre students. We host Commerce Career Day, which is a really exciting way for students to go and meet with recruiters of all kinds of industries. But then we have smaller employer in residence days where somebody from Hilton Hotels wants to bring a bunch of bagels and talk to you about what it's like to work for Hilton. So there are both big and small opportunities for you to engage with our employers early and often as commerce students. And finally, students really experience successful placement. You can look at the destinations report on our website for more information about where students end up. You'll see that over 90% of students have an internship, a full-time internship between their 3rd and 4th year. Like I believe last year, over 40% of those students came back with an offer in hand for full-time job offer at the beginning of their 4th year. Again, Commerce Career Coaches are ready to help students negotiate job offers, potential sign-on bonuses, things like that. So we really believe that we have an excellent product and that students are career ready, especially after ICE, but definitely upon graduation. So now we'll talk about our admissions information, the process, prerequisite courses, and advising. And again, as you have questions, please put them in the Q&A, and Sonia is happy to answer those. I know that we see some of them in the chat feature, but if you can keep them in the Q&A, that will help us. Okay, so as I mentioned, most students apply in January of their 2nd year for entrance in the fall of their 3rd year. We do have some 1st year students apply. We always want to meet with them and talk to them about why they're wanting to apply and how to make their application most competitive. But I do think that the very vast majority of our incoming students are third-year students, are rising second-year students, rising third-year students. So our admission considerations. We are really seeking community builders, and we want students who are passionate about using commerce for the common good. We want our class to bring a diversity of experience, backgrounds, and skills. We think that business problems are better solved when you are coming with a lot of different viewpoints and skills. We want students who are good at different things, who are passionate about different things, who have different backgrounds and knowledge about different things coming into our classes. We want students to possess intellectual curiosity, and we see if students possess this through a variety of ways. Did you take interesting classes? Did you do interesting things outside of your classes? We're looking for students who are academically prepared. And yes, this is measured by how you perform in our prerequisite courses, which we'll go over shortly, as well as your cumulative GPA. But it's also measured in terms of the quality of courses that you enroll in, the rigor, the depth, the breadth, how liberal arts based they are. We want to see a positive trend in your GPA. We want to see you doing well in those prerequisites, but also taking rigorous upper level courses as your schedule allows. We believe that students who are highly engaged in whatever they define their community as are going to be better classroom participants. They are going to be better teammates because they have worked together to solve problems. They have failed together and had to bounce back. And we really think that this is going to be, this really makes our classes and our students better when they have engaged with others in shared learning. Finally, we're looking for students who demonstrate emotional intelligence. We define this as having a high level of self-awareness and having a high level of self-regulation. When you know your strengths and weaknesses, you are going to be able to step up and step back. You're going to be able to lead and follow appropriately. And we think that that is going to add to our classroom experience, which, as I've mentioned, requires heavy participation. It requires a heavy level of teamwork and collaboration. And so we want students who are emotionally intelligent, who can add to each other's experience. Our admission statistics are posted on our website. For the past few years, it's been over 60% acceptance rate for students. So you can see more about that again on our website. I'm going to take a dive through our prerequisite courses before I get to our admission, to our advising recommendations. So this is a long list of prerequisite courses. A lot of them cover College of Arts and Sciences requirements. I'll go through them briefly. We have a suggested year of completion, which is just suggested, really and truly, and it helps you to understand that you have 2 years to complete these requirements. So you have 4 semesters. You apply in the middle of your second year, and we totally anticipate that students will have 1 or 2 additional prerequisite courses to complete in the spring of their second year. I'll also say that these courses, we require 54 credits, including these courses and including any test credits, AP, dual enrollment, things like that. So if your School of Enrollment gives you credit for these courses, then we accept those as well. Students need to complete COM 1800, our Foundations of Commerce course, in their first year. If your last name starts with L through Z, you should enroll in this in the fall. If your last name starts A through K, then you should aim to enroll in this in the spring. We very rarely have students who are not able to complete COM 1800 in their first year, but if you aren't for whatever reason, you can take it in your second year, and it will not make your admission application any less competitive. Students should complete the first writing requirement. We have a list of those courses that count for the first writing requirement here. On the flip for COM 1800, you should enroll in A through, if your last name is A through K, you should enroll in the first writing requirement in the fall. This is really to maintain expectation around course enrollment and to not crowd into the courses as much as possible. We require calculus, and there are 3 possible courses that meet the calculus requirement at the very first level. Math 1190, 1210, and 1310 are those courses. Math 1190 is a course specifically designed for students who do not have previous experience with calculus. So if you did not take calculus in high school, this is the course for you. If you took calculus in high school and you don't have any advanced credit, you should take Math 1210, which is applied calculus. It is specifically designed for non-STEM majors, and so this is perfect for business. So Math 1210 should be your focus course if you do not have credit for it, but you did take it in high school. If you were interested in pursuing the math major, you are interested, you love math, you are passionate about math, and you really feel confident in it, then Math 1310 might be the course for you. So again, this is a math prerequisite and is really great for other quantitative majors as well as other STEM degrees. If you have credit for math through AP or dual enrollment or anything else, if you have calculus credit, then you are finished with this calculus requirement, and you can either take additional coursework, again, if you're really passionate about it, or you might be ready to move on to our statistical analysis requirement. That is fulfilled by Stat 2120. If you have AP credit of 5, you are finished with the statistics requirement, though we do recommend that you find ways to learn as much as possible about Python and coding. I meant to say with calculus, if you have a question about your placement with calculus, check out our website. We have specific information about what calculus you should take, and it includes a link to the math placement test on the math department's website. If you have questions about how you can get, excuse me. If you have questions about how you can get that Python experience, if you have credit, AP credit for Stat 2120, we also have a lot of information on our website, and I encourage you to look at that as well. Students are required to complete 3 credits of the Artistic, Interpretive, and Philosophical Inquiry requirement, which is in the College of Arts and Sciences graduation requirement. Excuse me. Students are also required to complete their foreign or world language through the 2020 level. If you have placement credit, or if you've taken a placement test and you've successfully completed this, or if you have fulfilled this by speaking a native language and the university says it's satisfied, we will also accept that. I'm going to pause and probably cough, excuse me. Sorry about that, everybody. We require students to take micro and macroeconomics in their first or second year. And we also require students to take financial accounting through COM 2010 or managerial accounting in COM 2020. Both of those courses are taught online exclusively. We do recommend that you save those for your second year, or at least your second semester of your first year. I'm going to go through our advising recommendations. Again, I can't say it enough. Everybody has an individual path, and we really want for you to come and talk to us and learn as much from us as possible, because everybody, again, has different passions and different situations. First, we really encourage you to take full course loads. Full course load is anywhere between 14 and 16 credits. We want for you to do this because when you are at McIntyre, it is a requirement. All McIntyre students take full course loads 3 out of their 4 semesters. We want for you to challenge yourself with rigorous courses across many disciplines. Again, we want you to have a broad liberal arts background. We want for you to focus on having these oral and written communication skills. I'm not going to read them, they're right there in bullet points. But interestingly, if you focus on these, then you will stay on track to complete the college area requirements. And so if you stay on track for those, then you will also be getting the broad liberal arts skill set that we're really interested in our incoming students to have. There are many excellent, exciting majors and minors available at UVA, and we want for students to really look at those and consider all the different ones that they can take. So explore as much as possible. Create a balanced schedule, and we encourage you to do this by avoiding taking more than 2 of the quantitative prerequisites. Those are noted here in orange, so don't take calculus and statistics and econ in the same semester. Yes, that creates a very rigorous course schedule, but there's no need for it, and you don't get points for making yourself miserable in your first semester of college. Finally, get involved outside of the classroom. I said it before, and I'll say it again. We really think that these are the ways that you are going to get some of the best skills that are intangible, that you can't necessarily bring from a transcript, but they are going to add to your admission application. They are going to add to your personal and professional development. So those are our advising recommendations. And now I'll go to questions. Team, if I missed anything or you think that there's something that I typically do better in person, please feel free to shout them out. I'm going to look at the Q&A right now. And okay, so one question.
Sorry, I just turned on my camera as well. I've been working through the Q&As and I've saved some aside from you, so I can pitch them to you. It sounds like you found one that was interesting, so I'm gonna let you answer that one first.
I'd rather you pitch them to me. Which one?
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so the very first one that I saved for you to be answered live was from Nathan Lee, and he's talking about students with the last name L through Z. If they don't get a spot in that COM 1800 class for this fall semester, what would happen? I don't know if you want to revisit.
Sure. So if your last name is L through Z and you still don't get a spot, you will definitely be able to enroll in it in the spring. In the spring semester, there is much less of an audit. So they're not going to go back and say, you should have taken this in the fall, you can't do that. And so if you don't get into it in the fall, then definitely take it in the spring. Do not enroll in COM 1800 if your last name is A through K, because we will actually go back and audit and ask you to take it in the spring. So make sure if you're L through Z, try your best to take it in the fall. If you don't get it in the fall and your last name is L through Z, you will be able to take it in the spring. So we have one, I can actually read them, Sonia. If you
go for it.
Feel free to answer some of the more specific ones.
Will do.
But so what are some J terms for commerce? So we actually, those are some of the really great courses that are in the global commerce immersion courses that I talked about earlier, or study abroad courses. So I can talk about one experience that I had. I went to Singapore and to Hong Kong on a finance related course, and it was an absolutely wonderful experience. So I went with 20 students and a McIntyre finance professor. We went everywhere, right? We went to, I remember us going to like the 100th floor of Credit Suisse and talking to a UVA alum about his experience both as an expat, what his McIntyre experience was like, and then what Credit Suisse was doing. And students, it was really just an open Q&A session. We went to hedge funds. We went to China's Sovereign Wealth Fund. So we went to Bitcoin operations. So there were a lot of really great experiences, and students really saw what business was like on the ground, which was an exciting experience. And there was lots of time for cultural visits as well. And so you could really make the experience what you would like. So we have several of those sessions that are offered in January term. So one other question, how do I know if the BS in Commerce is compatible with my College of Arts and Sciences major if you would like to double major? So if you are interested in double majoring, it would be smart for you to start early and map out everything that you need for both of the majors. So, you would start by mapping out your commerce requirements, and then you would map out and kind of fill in what you would take for another major. Mason is interested in biochemistry. And so you would really need to start early. And that means that I know that biochemistry is quite rigorous in terms of what you'll do, even as the prerequisites for biochemistry. And so you would take a combination of McIntyre prerequisites, biochemistry prerequisites, and then when you map it out, we have those resources on our website to show you what you would do in your third and your fourth year at McIntyre. Very specifically, McIntyre pretty much eats up your third year with ICE, the integrated core experience. And so we really encourage you to, again, map it out as much as possible and start early as often as possible. So William's question is a double concentration in finance and accounting common? It is quite common, actually. That is the most popular combination. Finance, about 70% of our students concentrate in finance, in addition to other concentrations as well. So if you looked at the whole breakthrough, it would be like 150% of students concentrate because you can do two. So this is very, very common. A lot of times, and the reason why we have this as a prerequisite, folks say that accounting is the language of business. And so finance concentrators often appreciate what accounting teaches them at those upper level courses when students concentrate. Students who are rising second year transfers, welcome, Megan. Thank you for your question. Welcome to UVA. We're so happy to have you. You are more than able to enroll at McIntyre, to apply to McIntyre, and we do have students who do that and they end up enrolling at McIntyre. We encourage you, again, I think a lot of times, especially for our second year students, we really encourage you to reach out and schedule an appointment with our office. Go and talk to an ambassador. Course advising is often a very important part for second year transfer students. And so we want to make sure that you get your prerequisites and you are in the best position possible to apply to McIntyre. The fact that you are a second year transfer student means that you have a different experience, which is exciting for our admission committee. So in no way does this like hurt your chances of being offered admission. So we have a question, if I tested out of calculus and statistics, if I tested out of the calc and statistics prereqs for McIntyre, would you advise to keep taking math related classes? Maybe. I think a lot of times, well, first of all, you are going to be required to take additional math related classes. You're going to be taking economics and you're going to be taking accounting. So 4 additional quantitative courses you will be taking. So you don't need to take more calculus and more statistics classes. Of course, if you're really passionate about it, you think that you're interested in going into a profession like a quantitative trading profession or something like that, that could be a nice opportunity for you to do, but it by no means you're finished with the requirements. Not taking them frees up your time to take other liberal arts courses. So it's really up to you. It's a personal decision at that point since you have the prerequisites. Gabriella asks if we recommend taking additional courses apart from the prerequisites. We really recommend you taking courses, I'll go back to our slides here, that it's the second bullet point, that help you develop your oral and written communication skills. So find a public speaking class, find a class that requires you to write a ton. We want for you to think about what is right and wrong in the context of the world around you. And so a philosophy class is a great way to understand that. Understanding also how and why people do things is important. And so our social sciences can provide a lot more information on that for you. We want for you to develop that global perspective. And so taking courses that focus on culture and language is really, really important. Developing, again, that quantitative skill set, which you do through our prerequisite courses, and thinking about things creatively and critically is very, very important. So, again, exploring those AIP. So take the broad range of courses that are available to you at UVA. There is no one course that you should take or shouldn't take. It's really, you should find what you're really passionate about. NWAR 1520 does count as the first writing requirement, I believe, right, Andrea? That's a new course.
I will look it up right now and put it in the chat.
Okay, answer forthcoming. Okay, so do you need to have a background in statistics before taking Stat 2120? You do not. I will say that it is a fast-paced course, and so having an appreciation for a fast-paced course will be helpful, but you do not need to take any additional coursework in statistics to be ready for Stat 2120. We have a question, can you take COM 2010 or 2020 online during the summer? You can. Those courses have been available in the past. I can't say if they're going to be available in the future, but those courses are offered in the summer, and again, they are online. We would love to talk to you if you're considering taking an online summer course. Specifically, I think the committee really likes to see how you do in your courses, in your prerequisites when you're taking a full course load and doing your activities, as that's what the vast majority of the pool is doing. But by virtue of you taking a prerequisite during the summer, that does not make your application less competitive or anything like that. So again, it's a personal kind of what you want to do, but it is by no means forbidden. Okay, so I want to double major in computer science in the College of Arts and Sciences and Commerce. How would you suggest balancing the prerequisites? So this is really common, and I encourage you to start early and take as many CS courses as you can in your first 2 years. Again, the third year, we pretty much eat up those requirements with our integrated core. And so make sure that you start early with the computer science major. That is actually the most often pursued double major in combination with the commerce degree. Do you need calculus credit before you take statistics? I believe that in the statistics, in the Stat 2120 course description, it says that calculus is a requirement as a prerequisite. We often recommend that students take calculus before statistics. I think that if you talk to the statistics department, they will say that you do not need calculus. So I would talk to them about that specifically. You can email the instructor. I'm sorry that I can't tell you, like I can't really advise you on what you should take, but technically I believe it says that it's a requirement, a prerequisite. Okay. What is my favorite commerce student organization? I like them all for a lot of different reasons. I think one really great, I'll just choose one that I can talk to you about, Enactus. I'm on their business advisory board. So Enactus is an organization that provides free consulting services to local businesses. So they, for instance, they worked with a company, a brand new business that opened a Mexican restaurant on the downtown mall in Charlottesville called Sombreros. And so they really talked to them about how can you best market your product? How do you know who you're feeding, and how do you get them into the store? So they take best practices in business and apply it to local companies and entrepreneurs. And so it's a really, really great organization for students to get there, to work with groups, to get to understand consulting, to learn more about business practices. And I think that group would say that they eat a lot of cheese dip as well. So that is a great opportunity, just an example of really excellent, of a really excellent organization that you can engage in. Is McIntyre exclusive only to students who've attended UVA, or do you accept transfers from other business schools? So McIntyre has an external transfer process where students who are at 2- and 4-year schools can apply and transfer. That is run through a totally separate process. And so, yeah, so we have space for about 35 external transfer students. You get into McIntyre and decide to double major with a major in the College of Arts and Sciences. Do you still have to meet the college core requirements? No. If you plan to pursue commerce and have a second major in the College of Arts and Sciences, you are only required to complete McIntyre's current requirements. So you do not have to complete the college's graduation requirements. Sorry, I'm going through my head thinking, that is right. What is the difference between an Econ major offered in the College of Arts and Sciences and the majors offered at McIntyre? So the Econ major is in the College of Arts and Sciences. It has several excellent concentrations that you can look into. Econ focuses a lot on, from a social science lens and a statistical lens and a quantitative lens. I think that the commerce major is the only major offered at McIntyre in our undergraduate program. And we really give you this comprehensive understanding of business from a business lens. We blend we go through all the different areas of business. I can go through the slides. So in the second box, in the middle box, we blend all of these areas of business, and we teach students all of these areas of business before students then go to choose a concentration or a track. So we are giving a really comprehensive education around business. We're extremely pre-professional in the way that we teach our coursework. So I think a good question for you to then ask is go to Econ and say, you know, what are my learning outcomes? What is the placement like? Where can I go? What with this? What can I do with this? What will I learn? And so just looking at even some of the courses that you would take and that you must take between the two, I think can tell a story about some of the differences there. What is the McIntyre application process? What should we do now in order to prepare other than satisfy the prerequisites? Okay, so Dominic, these are great questions. Okay, so the application process. So I'm aware that all of our incoming first years have just gone through one of the most rigorous application processes in your entire life. And again, congratulations. We try and make the McIntyre application as straightforward and simple as possible. We have a sample application on our website. We take information from your transcript directly from the student information system, so you don't need to submit anything like that. We ask for you to enter in up to 4 activities that you have done since graduating high school. We ask that you answer 1 or 2 250-word essay questions. You are able to tell us about any distinctions, honors, and awards. You can give some optional family information if you like. So it's a very truncated application. There are no recommendations needed. There's no interview process. So you will apply in January of your second year, and you will hear back from us in March as to whether you have received admission. In terms of what you should do now to prepare, I would really recommend you do a couple of things. First, learn as much as you can about McIntyre. That will make your application stronger. That will make you more confident that the prerequisites are worth it, and that persisting through the prerequisites is a really important aspect of all of this. So don't learn just to do it, learn to engage and learn more fully and how you will use all of the information that you're learning. See what our students are doing, engage as much as possible in terms of your co-curricular experiences. I think that is a differentiator of our applicants. Not only have they taken really tough, interesting, liberal arts-based coursework, but they have also engaged so fully in a lot of different activities. So they have, again, done group activities, they have volunteered, they have done business-related or non-business related activities, and so they've developed leadership skills, resilience, grit. So that's what you can really be doing to prepare for McIntyre, is engage as much as possible, as well as just, satisfying the prerequisites is important too. I loved both of those questions. Okay, so we have a question about taking more than 2 quantitative prerequisites in one semester. So, Sean is asking, is it not recommended to take more than 2 quantitative classes in one semester, even if those classes aren't McIntyre prerequisites? So if you take Econ and Stat for McIntyre and another quantitative course for a different major or minor, you can take as many quantitative courses as you would like in one semester. We simply recommend that you balance the 2 semesters. So, we're not going to look at your course schedule and say, took 4 quantitative courses, obviously isn't McIntyre material. That's not at all how it's approached. We really encourage you to balance as much as possible. And when you are looking at other majors and minors, it might not be possible for you to limit those quantitative prerequisites to 2 per semester. So this is by no means, a requirement. It is simply a recommendation from an advising perspective. So what kind of classes meet the artistic, interpretive, and philosophical inquiry requirement? So on SIS, you can actually search by requirement in the College of Arts and Sciences. So you can find, you can isolate that specifically, and you do not have to, and then all of those will pop up and you can see what those classes are. The College of Arts and Sciences has this new curriculum that you are all in, and it most closely aligns with the humanities. And those used to be defined as dramatic or musical arts, philosophy, religion, literature, things like that. So is it still possible for a third-year transfer student to apply to McIntyre? It is not possible for a third-year transfer student to apply to McIntyre for this fall 2021. We have concluded that application process. You would be, if you are an incoming third-year student, you would apply to McIntyre using the internal transfer process, which I'm talking about mostly in this conversation. So please reach out to our office and we would be happy to talk to you about what your path might be. So, okay, so a question about the quantitative courses. So would I suggest taking a max of 2 of the orange highlighted courses in one semester? I would suggest taking a max of 2. So it would be totally fine for you to take macroeconomics, COM 1800, and calculus, because COM 1800 is not a quantitative prerequisite. Andrea, did you find if 1520 was included?
Yes, 1520 does satisfy the first writing requirement.
Thank you. So if you are able to take NWAR 1520 or 1510, excuse me, you should take whichever one, the topic you find most interesting. So we do not have a preference from an admission perspective. Take the course to satisfy the prerequisite and to get the knowledge, obviously. Those are based on really, really interesting topics. And so find a topic that's interesting to you because you're going to write about it all semester long. Okay, so our next question is pretty common. Will a late course enrollment appointment harm your ability to take a prerequisite? We find that students are able to take prerequisites by the time they apply to McIntyre. We very rarely have students who say, I did not get all of my prerequisites because of my appointment time. That is I'm hearing your concern, I understand your concern, but that is not a reason that students do not complete the prerequisites in our experience. Should I be enrolled in classes now, even if I haven't met with a course advisor? The College of Arts and Sciences, I believe this year it's a little bit different, but they set your course enrollment time, and I believe that they've tried to give you as many resources as possible. You could reach out to your assigned dean or someone in the college to ask any questions that you have about course enrollment for this year. So I can't quite speak to their enrollment policies and process, but I do think that you should contact the college and ask any questions that you have. So if I took English 101 and 102 at my community college, does that fulfill my English requirements? These do not fulfill the university's English requirements. The university's first writing requirement. Dual enrollment is not accepted. And so you should plan to enroll in a course that meets the first writing requirement at UVA. What happens if you were denied from the Commerce School? Catherine, thank you for your question. This is a common one. So students have 2 years to take both Commerce prerequisites, which again, align with McIntyre requirements, as well as courses from a variety of different areas. We encourage everyone, it doesn't matter if they have a 4.0 or a 2.0, to enroll in courses that they think are interesting, that you would potentially consider even as a double major. So we find that students who are denied from Commerce go on to flourish in other majors. They might minor in one of McIntyre's 3 minors. They might go on to the Master's of Science in Commerce, that 5th year degree that I talked about. They might get a certificate, but again, they also access all of the same employers that come through the University Career Center. And so they go on to love UVA. They get jobs in areas that they're passionate about. So it does happen. We cannot admit everyone who applies to McIntyre, but students definitely go on to have a great experience at UVA, even if it's not in our BS in Commerce program. So we have a question about balancing engineering and the commerce curriculums to see if someone wants to double major. This has not happened in my time at the McIntyre School. That is not to say that it's impossible, but it is very, very difficult. Mostly because engineering has a set curriculum that you would take all 4 years there. and commerce does as well in terms of what you take in your third year here. And so again, as I told another student with a question, you should definitely work them out on a piece of paper and talk to your advisor there. Come and talk to us during walk-in advising, and we can help make sure that you are including all of the different requirements. I find that as I've seen students map it out, they are not able to graduate in 4 years with an engineering and commerce degrees, but that does not mean that that hasn't been possible with others. That doesn't mean that it's not possible with you. Come and talk to us. Okay. Audrey. We can talk to McIntyre. I lost that one. Is that on the answer? Sorry. Audrey, I'm looking for your question. Okay, so yes, you are so Audrey asked if students can talk to McIntyre students as first years. You are absolutely welcome to come and talk to a McIntyre ambassador. Those walk-in advising hours are during a student's, are during the academic year. So starting in the fall, you can talk to McIntyre ambassadors. So someone here is considering a math major in addition to finance at McIntyre. Would placing in and taking a course above Calculus 3, such as linear algebra, at the same time as Stat 2020 be advisable? I think that if you're interested in majoring in math and you've placed into Calc 3, I think that Calc 3, or excuse me, I think that linear algebra and Stat 2120 would be doable. I don't know that I would take more than that, but again, if you're considering a math major, you would probably be fine. I mean, they're going to be rigorous anyway. But I wouldn't necessarily waive you off of that if you're considering a math major. And then last question, what majors cannot be double majored with commerce or a BS degree? We do not allow a double major with the Batten School of Leadership and Public Policy. And that is because McIntyre requires students to have McIntyre listed as their first major, and Batten requires students to be listed as their first major. And so the two, you cannot do both. I think there are a lot of majors that don't end up pairing well just because of the different, like I was talking about with the last question about engineering, just the demands from a curricular standpoint. You know, I don't think that we've had a lot of architecture students double major in commerce because of the required studio time for architecture. That's several hours in the afternoon, but I don't think from a policy perspective that is not allowed. So it really just depends. But come and talk to us, because I mean, as much as I love our undergraduate degree, there might be a minor, there might be a certificate program, there might be a graduate experience where you can do something that you're really passionate about as an undergrad and then have a complementary McIntyre experience. Okay, last question. I've heard most people who don't get into McIntyre major in Econ instead. Should we take Calc 2 since it's a requirement for Econ and not a requirement for McIntyre? Only if you're interested in Econ and backup. So this goes back to the question of what happens if students don't get in. I think that, you know, you should consider all the different majors that are available to you at McIntyre, at the university. And so if Econ is one of those and you're really interested in it, you're really passionate about it, then you should definitely consider taking Calc 2 as it's one of their prerequisites. But you know, there are lots of other majors that can satisfy your business curiosities and that employers love to see students pursuing. I think that I guess because our prerequisites align so closely with economics, a lot of students who do not come to McIntyre do end up majoring in Econ, but I don't think that it's a one-for-one. And so we really encourage students to think as broadly as possible about what they would like to do instead of necessarily just focusing on what should I do as my backup. Do what you want to do, not from a backup perspective. It's 5 o'clock on the dot, and I've talked a lot, and I appreciate everybody's attention. And we are so happy that you are coming to UVA, and we look forward to engaging with you in the very near future. Bye for now.